Chapter 1. Ash and Paper. Without warning, the growl rolled under the bookcases like thunder hunting for me. That night, the café smelled like coffee and wet wool, and the rain hit the windows hard, like a hand that wouldn't stop knocking. And I told myself to breathe, to count the cups, to stack the receipts, to pretend the world was small and safe. In fact, I kept my voice bright for my brother on the phone. "Homework, Milo, brush your teeth. I'll lock up soon." Yet the bell over the door didn't ring. The door just swung a little, as if someone had sighed on the other side. "Damien," I called. What followed was only the hum of the fridge and the whisper of rain. The place felt like a held breath. Soon after, the back door hinge squealed. "You still didn't oil this," Damien said, voice low, warm, and rough. Because of that voice, the fear slid back a step. He set his toolbox down, and his coat dripped a dark line across the tile. More importantly, he didn't meet my eyes at first. He never did when he was worried. "Busy day?" I tried to sound light. "Busy night," he muttered, wiping his hands. As the wind shifted, a copper smell rode in with him. My stomach flipped. Not only that, his knuckles were split, tiny moons of red. "Door," he said, crouching. "If it sticks, bad men get ideas." "Bad men?" I laughed, but it cracked. Truth be told, I wanted to bolt the world shut. After that, he checked the back alley, and he moved like a shadow with bones. With every step he took, the cafe lights seemed quieter. The rain seemed louder. The space between us burned with all the things we never said. "News said a dog mauled a deer in the park," I said. "So?" he asked, too fast. "People are scared. People should be careful." His jaw flexed. In the span of a breath, his eyes flashed. Not bright, not normal. Then went human again. Her voice trembled, but I kept going. "You're bleeding." "It's nothing." He wrapped tape around his hand. And just like that, he stood a little closer, blocking the draft, blocking something else. Between one breath and the next, I felt safer and more afraid. As the silence stretched, I heard a growl earlier. "Rats," he said. "Rats don't growl." "Big rats," he said, almost smiling. Moments later, the phone buzzed on the counter. A town alert. Animal incidents near the tree line. Stay indoors. On the other hand, a different message came in from a number I didn't know. Lock your window. My thoughts spun. Maybe it was fate that I worked late tonight. Maybe it was stupid. My chest ached. My bones remembered him showing up after my parents died, fixing things, fixing me. "Want help closing?" he asked. "Always," I said, softer than I meant to. As the truth unraveled in my chest, I saw it. A rust streak by the mop sink. Dark, thick, not oil. "Damien?" He stepped between me and the stain, calm as winter. "I'll clean it." Because of that quiet, I knew better than to push, and I locked the front while he mopped, while the smell of iron threaded the coffee. The air thickened, the lights hummed, the clock ticked too loud. That's why I checked the alley camera on my phone, and it showed only rain. It never showed anything else. Under the weight of his stare, I finally said, "Walk me home?" "Always," he said, and his voice carried my name like a promise he couldn't return. By the time we reached the door, the streetlight outside flickered. Her world tilted. 2 gold coins hung beyond the glass, eyes level with mine, bright, patient, wrong. Before she could move, they blinked out, and the dark smiled back. As if the forest watched, something scraped down the metal dumpster, long, slow, and sharp. Chapter 2. Streetlight Teeth. That night, the rain turned to needles, and the town shrank to pools of yellow under the lamps, and Damien fell into step beside me like a wall that walked. So my hands stopped shaking, so my breath fogged less. Still, his coat was heavy with river and pine. With his scent in the air, the street tasted like metal. "Why didn't you bring an umbrella?" I asked, small talk like string. Doesn't help, he said. As if summoned, thunder rolled. From what? From what's out, he said, voice flat. Yet his body angled so I stayed near the curb and not the dark mouths of the alleys. In fact, his fists were open, loose, ready, and his gaze kept cutting to the roofs, the gutters, the ends of the street where the fog was thickest. What happened to your knuckles? I asked. Door. Door punches back? Sometimes, he said, the corner of his mouth almost a smile. Meanwhile, water ran under our boots like small rivers trying to drag us off, and the town felt older than it should, like a story told too many times. My voice slipped out. Do you ever hear things? What things? Teeth, I said, and then I felt silly. Teeth make sounds, he said, dead serious. You're not silly. Because of that, warmth climbed up my neck. Her heart skipped. He never teased when I was scared. He just read the dark and held the line. A beat later, we passed the alley behind the café. The dumpster wore 4 fresh grooves deep as fingers and long as regret. Her breath caught. Rats? I whispered. Big ones, he said, and his voice dared the shadows to argue. Eventually, a black SUV crawled down the far block, and the driver did not look at us. Instead, the window cracked. A hand with a silver wolf head ring tapped the door. The wind carried his name in my head, Alpha, though I didn't know why I knew it. What is that? I asked. Wrong road, Damien said, steering me left with 2 fingers at my elbow. As the silence roared in my ears, I tried again. You'll tell me if there's something I should know, right? I always do, he said. Do you? He looked down, rain slicking his lashes. Most of it. Before either could speak, a low sound rose behind us. Not a dog, a warning. The kind that says no farther. Her instincts surged. Keep walking, Damien said, voice different now. Why? Because, he said, it listens when we run. Her body moved on instinct. And we didn't run. And the sound followed anyway, padding along the roof lines. The air tasted like static. The streetlight buzzed, then went dark. In that moment, I slipped my hand into his coat pocket, fingers seeking proof he was real. He flinched like the touch hurt, then stilled, then let me stay. As the sky darkened harder, the SUV rolled past again, slow as a thought that won't leave. The ring gleamed. The driver never turned his head. What's worse, Milo texted. Don't forget my inhaler. Almost home, I whispered to myself. Almost there. Damien said, I'll check your windows tonight. Because of that promise, I nodded. And we reached my building. And I found a thin X carved into the paint by my door, clean as a signature. Her voice trembled. Kids? Not kids, he said. With a single glance at the stairwell camera, he swore under his breath. The feed was static, thick, buzzing, like bees in a jar. What does that mean? I asked. Means we go inside, he said. Means we don't argue. As if fate demanded it, a laugh drifted from the far end of the hall. Too smooth, too sure. The SUV's engine purred outside like a cat that owned the block. Between them, something cracked, the thin shell of normal, and the dark leaned closer to hear it break. Chapter 3. Loose Tongues. Soon after, the cafe felt different, even with the lights on, and morning brought a pale sun that looked tired of trying, and I told myself to smile, to steam milk, to call names, to be a person with clean hands and no fear. Still, the bell chimed and a man walked in who didn't belong to daylight. He moved like a hymn sung off-key, and he smiled too wide, and he sniffed the air, slow, like he was reading a book with his nose. Nice place, he said. Smells like sweet and iron. What can I get you? I asked, voice even. Her chest ached. On the other hand, he didn't look at the menu. He looked at me, head tilted. You close late, right? Sometimes, I said. Late is loose, he murmured. Loose tongues, loose locks. My hand tightened on the counter. We're a safe place. In fact, the room chilled as if a cloud moved across the sun, and he leaned in, eyes pale like old glass. Be careful what you see, girl. Sight is a debt. Is that a threat? I asked, thin. What followed was a long blink and a sweeter smile. A neighborly tip. He set down a coin, a heavy one, stamped with a howling wolf. Her thoughts spun. We don't take foreign currency, I said. You will, he said, or the pack will take you. Before the words left her lips, the back door squealed. Damien stepped in, jaw tight, eyes storm dark. He saw the coin. He saw the man. The air changed. Without another word, Damien placed himself between us, casual like a knife lying still. Morning, he said. Beta, the man answered, like a joke with teeth. As the bond pulsed through the room, my skin prickled. Damien's voice dropped. You're in the wrong store. I was shopping for silence, the man said. And for loyalty. Yours seems leashed to the wrong throat. A growl rose in my throat before I knew it, and I clamped my mouth shut, and the man's eyes lit with delight. See? He purred. Loose. That's why Damien's hand curled on the counter like he held the room down. Leave, he said. Or what? Or I stop pretending I'm polite. Her breath caught as the man leaned close enough for me to smell mint and cold meat. You know our law, he whispered for me, not for Damien. Humans don't know. Humans don't tell. Humans who do, don't. What does that mean? I asked, even though I knew. It means goodbye, Damien said. The tension broke when the enforcer finally laughed and stepped back. Tell your alpha I paid a call, he said to Damien. Tell him the girl smells like choice. With every heartbeat, I stood straighter. I would not bend, I would not break, I would not beg. As the echo faded, the door closed, the bell chimed, and the room remembered it was a cafe. Are you okay? Damien asked, voice low. No, I said, but I will be. Because of that truth, I walked to the back to breathe, and the floor by the mop sink had a new stain, dark and fresh, and my stomach turned. What happened last night? I asked. Rogue, he said. It won't come back. Her name hung in the air, Alara, when he said, I'll fix this. I'll fix everything. Can you? He looked at me then. Under the weight of his stare, I felt like I was the point of a compass he'd been spinning around for years. I'll try, he said, and his voice broke on the last word. As the silence stretched, my phone buzzed. Another unknown text. Ask him about the ice. My bones remembered the winter I fell through, the numb, the dark, the hand that dragged me out. Damien, I whispered. Who pulled me from the creek when we were kids? Her soul answered before he did. And just like that, the past opened like a door I hadn't known was locked. Chapter 4. Without warning, the alley breathed like a throat, and the night tasted like metal. That night, rain ticked on dumpsters and the air steamed off the pavement. After that, a low scrape slid along brick. Slow, hungry, close. Damien? I whispered. And my voice shivered, and my hands went cold. Moments later, a shadow moved where no shadow should. In fact, the shadow uncoiled. Broad shoulders, wet fur, a muzzle slick with red. What followed was a sound like a torn drum. A growl. Deep. Claiming. Back! Damien rasped. No, not Damien. Voice rougher, teeth flashing. As the wind shifted, copper flooded my mouth. My legs locked. My breath broke. Before I could move, another shape lunged from the dark. Claws. Wet teeth. A rogue. And the alley narrowed to fur and heat and the slap of bodies. Her world tilted. Go, he barked. Yet my feet stayed. Yet my spine stayed. The air thickened. The trash bags burst, and the smell of rot hit hard. With every heartbeat, I watched him hit like a storm. He was blur and bone. He was fury. He slammed the rogue into the brick, once, twice. Bricks cracked. The rogue twisted, snapped, and went for my throat. Her body moved on instinct. I grabbed the metal lid and swung. The clang sparked, sharp as lightning in my teeth. "Damien!" I cried, even so not sure this thing was him. In the span of a breath, he put himself between me and death. He took the bite. He took the pain. He didn't fall. Instead, he drove the rogue down, pinning it, jaws at its neck. A cut opened on his shoulder like a mouth that wouldn't stop talking. "Please," I whispered. "Please, stop." As the silence roared, he froze. Just for me. Just for my voice. And just like that, I saw him inside the wolf. His eyes, gold going brown, found me. The rogue bucked. So Damien finished it. Swift, clean, terrible. And the alley went quiet except for rain. Between one breath and the next, he staggered. He changed, bones grinding like stones under a river, fur slicking away, skin rising, man returning. The change looked like fire under his skin. The heat shimmered in the air. "Don't look," he panted. "I already am." Under the weight of his stare, my stomach turned. He was naked, bleeding, shaking. I tore off my hoodie and shoved it at him. "Put this on." He took it with a wince. "You weren't supposed to see." "That's funny," I said, even though my throat was tight. "Because I did." So he braced on the wall. So his breath came sharp. So the alley smelled like iron and rain and something wild that wanted me close. "Elara," he said, voice wrecked. "Go home." "What are you?" I asked, small and steady. He swallowed. "Bad idea." "Say it," I said. "Wolf?" he said. "Werewolf." The word cracked the night. The truth rang. The world shifted to fit it. A howl rolled from the trees, far, answering, hungry. As the sky darkened, he flinched. "They heard," he said. "They always hear." "What do we do?" "We move." Because of that, he grabbed my hand. Because of that, heat sparked up my arm like a match catching dry pine. With his scent in the air, smoke, pine, rain, my pulse hit fast. We ran. We cut through puddles. We slipped past a sleeping cat that wasn't sleeping. The town alert on my phone buzzed again. "Stay inside. Lock your windows." "Who sent that?" I asked. "People who don't want you dead," he said. "Or worse." "What's worse?" He didn't answer. By the time we hit Maine, a black SUV slid from a side street. Its lights off. Its windows dark. A silver wolf head glinted on a hand at the wheel. "Who's that?" I whispered. "Pack," he said, and the word tasted like knives. The SUV didn't slow. It drifted by like a shark that had memorized my name. As the bond pulsed, yes, that was the word, pulsed across my skin, I squeezed Damien's hand. "You saved me." He shook his head. "I didn't let you die." "Same thing." "Not to them." "Who is them?" "People who write rules with blood." Truth be told, I wanted to cry. I didn't. I kept moving. I kept... At the corner, he stopped short. He stared at me like I was a cliff he could not walk away from. "Listen," he said, voice low. "If they find out you saw me shift..." "They'll what?" He swallowed hard. "Humans don't know. Humans don't tell. Humans who do, don't. That's not an answer. It's the only one you get tonight." The wind carried his name through the branches. The forest leaned in. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Lock the window. And just like that, I wanted home. Warmth. Proof this was real and I was still me. "Walk me," I said. "Always," he said. Chapter 5. That night, my apartment smelled like lemon cleaner and old books, and the radiator clicked like a restless tooth. After that, the city sounds faded to hush. and Damien stood in my kitchen with blood drying on his shoulder and my hoodie too small for his frame. "Sit," I said. "Let me clean that." "No," he said, so gentle it sounded like sorry. "I can't stay. You're bleeding." "I heal." "Not fast enough," I said, grabbing the first aid kit. "And stop arguing. You saved me. Let me save you back." As the silence stretched, he sat. He didn't look at me. He watched the window, jaw tight. "They'll come," he said. "They always come." "Who?" "Pack." "Who are you to them?" "Trouble," he said. "And a leash they keep yanking." "Your shoulder," I said, pouring alcohol. He hissed. "Sorry. Don't be." He exhaled like the pain made him honest. "Alara, I have to tell you the rules." "Okay." "Rule 1, he said, voice flat, soldier clean. "Humans don't know. You know. Because of that, you're in danger." I figured. "Rule 2, no human mates." I froze. "Why would you even say that?" He looked at me then. Under the weight of his stare, heat ran through me like summer rain. "Because," he said, quiet, "I have to say it before I forget how to say it." "What does that mean?" "Means I shouldn't be here." "Then go," I said, even though my voice trembled. "Door's right there." He didn't move. "Rule 3, he said, softer. "If the Alpha asks, you didn't see me change. You didn't see anything." "Why?" "So you live. What's worse than dying?" He looked away. "Some things you don't come back from." Meanwhile, my phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number again. Ask him about the ice. My bones went cold. My lungs remembered winter. My skin remembered a hand under black water. "What ice?" he asked, reading my face. "When we were kids," I said. "The creek. I fell through. Someone pulled me out. I never knew who." He shut his eyes. "Don't ask me that tonight." "Why?" "Because if you ask, I'll answer. And if I answer, I won't leave." Her breath caught. "Then answer." "Alara. Damien." In that moment, thunder rolled again, and the building hummed, and the radiator clicked like a metronome counting us down. As the wind shifted, my window latch rattled. He was on his feet before I could blink. "Stay behind me." "What is it?" He sniffed. He stilled. "Enforcer." "What does that mean?" "Means I didn't run fast enough." That's why he moved to the door like a shadow with a heartbeat. With every step he took, the air tightened. The hall light went out. The stairwell camera staticked again. "Should I call the police?" I whispered. "No." "Why not?" "Because they won't see what's there." "Damien." He touched my wrist. Just 2 fingers. Just long enough to calm my pulse by force of will. "I'm going to send him away." "How?" "By reminding him who I used to be." "Who's that?" He stared at the door like it owed him an apology. "Someone the Alpha was afraid of." Her thoughts spun. "You said I should lie. I can't lie." "Then say nothing." "I don't know if I can." "Try," he said. "For me." Because of that ask. Because of that please. My throat closed. And I nodded. A beat later, knuckles wrapped in a 3 count. Light. Patient. Mocking. "Open, Beta," a voice purred through wood. "Pack business." "Not your pack," Damien said, and he sounded like winter. "Your girl saw," the voice said. "Law is law." "She didn't see," he said. "Then let her say it." Her chest ached. My name hung in the air like a dare, and my front door felt thin as paper. "Go to your room," Damien said, not looking back. "No," I said. "Alara, I stand with you." He cursed under his breath. Then he unlocked the chain. As if the world narrowed, the door opened an inch. A ring flashed, a smile cut. A pale face leaned in, polite as a knife on a napkin. "Evening," the enforcer said. "We've come to collect a debt. Sight is always a debt." "Come back with a warrant," I said, though my knees shook. "What's worse," he murmured, "is when people think paper protects them." "Leave," Damien said. Or I stop pretending I forgot how to break you. A beat later, the enforcer laughed. 7 nights, he said, eyes sliding to me. Your alpha wants your obedience, and he wants her silence. Tell him to want less. I'll tell him you begged, the enforcer said, pleased. Tell him I didn't, I said. The smile sharpened. We'll see. Without another word, he withdrew. The hall light flicked back on. The camera cleared, and the door clicked shut like a held breath let go. In the quiet that followed, Damien leaned his head to the frame. You can still run, he said. I won't. Why? Because I'd be running from you. As the echo faded, he stared at me like I'd stolen his name. Then he nodded, small, broken. I'll come back before dawn. Lock the window. I already did. Lock it again. Chapter 6. Come morning, the world looked clean and lied about it, and the snow in the mountains flashed like teeth, and my door wore the thin X like a kiss you don't want. Don't touch it, Damien said, appearing in the hallway like he'd grown from the paint. It's a mark. For what? For who you belong to, he said, and his jaw ticked. And they're wrong. Do I belong to anyone? I asked. He swallowed. Not unless you choose. Who chose you? I asked. He didn't answer. Meanwhile, the black SUV idled across the street. The driver stared at nothing, which meant he stared at everything. The wolf head ring flashed once, cold as a moon. Let's move, Damien said. We talk where walls don't listen. We cut down the side road. We threaded past the church, past the park swings rocking in wind, past the creek that remembered me. The air smelled like wet bark and iron filings. Tell me now, I said, as the silence stretched. What happens if the alpha decides I saw too much? He'll demand proof of your ignorance. How? By breaking you until you can't remember your own name, he said, voice empty. That's the law. No, I said, because my mouth worked before fear did. That's his law. That's why we're leaving town, he said. I stopped. We? He stopped, too. Under the weight of his stare, the morning went thin. If you stay, you suffer for me. If you go with me, you suffer because of me. I don't like either. Then what do you like? You alive. What do you want? I asked. His mouth opened, closed. To want is dangerous. Want anyway. He looked at my hands, at my throat, at my mouth. As the bond pulsed, heat climbed my neck. I want... He cut himself off. It doesn't matter. It does, I said, soft. Because it's the truth. Truth be told, I expected him to walk. Instead, he reached for my sleeve and held it like it was a ledge. Alara, listen. There's a ceremony in 7 nights. The alpha will announce an arranged mate for me. I laughed, short and mean. No. Not a joke, he said. What will you do? Disobey. What will that cost? Everything. Then why disobey? Because, he said, quiet. I already chose. She felt it, clear as day, the word he didn't say. Mine. And just like that, everything changed. Do I get a vote? I asked. You shouldn't, he said. Do I? Yes. I vote me, I said. He scrubbed a hand over his face. You don't know what you're taking on. What am I taking on? Me. Them. Rules. Blood. A life at the edge of a forest that eats people who walk too far. I grew up here, I said. I already live at the edge. Between them, something cracked. A small smile. A small surrender. Gods, Alara. Don't call me that, I said, smiling back. As the wind shifted, a scent cut through pine. Perfume. Sweet. Wrong. The enforcer stepped from behind the church sign like he'd been there all morning. Sweet, he said, eyeing my door key on its cord. The beta walks his leash. Try again, Damien said. Alpha wants a word, the enforcer said. Now. No, Damien said. Then later, he purred. With a crowd. What crowd? I asked. The SUV door thumped. 2 more men got out. Their smiles matched knives. Their boots were quiet. Damien? I said. I know, he said. Her instincts surged. What do we do? Choose, he said. Choose what? He looked at me like I was a cliff he'd jump from, smiling. Choose me. I already did. A beat later, the enforcer clapped, delighted. Tell me, girl, he said. What did you see last night? As the silence stretched, I held Damien's eyes. I felt the bond hum under my skin. I felt fear, and I felt something else. Tell him nothing, Damien said, calm and cold. I turned to the enforcer. I saw a man who saved me. That all? That's enough. That won't satisfy a council. Then they can starve, I said. He laughed. 7 nights, he said again. Bring your courage. Bring your lies. He tipped his head at the creek. Watch the ice. What does that mean? I asked, throat tight. It remembers, he said. As though fate whispered, the creek's surface shivered though no wind touched it. My bones remembered black water. My lungs remembered cold. Go, Damien said, stepping between us. Now. Where? Home. Lock the window. What if they come back? They will. What do I do? Open for me, he said. For no one else. With every step he took toward the enforcer, I stepped away. The air tightened. The birds went quiet. The SUV idled like a beast with hot breath. 7 nights, the enforcer sang. Tick-tock. I walked. I didn't run. The world narrowed to my door key and the sound of my pulse. The X on my door looked darker in daylight. The camera over the stairwell blinked dead, then bright, then dead again. Under the weight of that mark, I pressed my palm to the wood. I'm not afraid, I told myself. She didn't know what scared her more, wolves, laws, or the way my name sounded when he said choose. Deep down, she knew the truth. And just like that, the point of no return wasn't a line. It was a door, and I turned the lock. Chapter 7. By the time dawn rolled pale across the town, the bookstore cafe smelled of paper and burnt espresso like any other morning. Yet the air tasted different, thicker, sharper, as if the walls themselves were listening. Why are you here so early? I asked, fumbling keys at the counter. Damien leaned against the back door frame, shadow swallowing shadow. His hoodie hung loose, scar peeking beneath the collar. Because you needed me. I didn't call you. You didn't have to. Her thoughts spun. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was obsession. Either way, I couldn't deny the relief that smoothed my chest. Still, I crossed my arms. You said rules. You said danger. So teach me. He stepped closer, every movement precise like a predator pacing a cage. Rule 1, you've already broken. Rule 2, you'll break again. Rule 3, he stopped. His throat bobbed. His eyes went dark. What's Rule 3? Never let them see you bleed, he said finally, and tugged down his collar. Her breath caught. Across his chest and shoulders, scars carved stories no one wanted to tell. Claw rakes, whip welts, burns that kissed skin too long. Who did this to you? Rogues, he said at first, then softer. Not only rogues. The words clung like frost. The Alpha. I didn't say it, but he heard me anyway. Before either could speak again, the front bell chimed. My brother ran in, backpack bouncing, grin wide. Ilara? We're out of cereal. I laughed, light and shaky. Go grab a muffin. Damien crouched, sudden softness breaking his edges. Chocolate chips best, he said. My brother's eyes lit, and for a heartbeat, the world felt almost normal. As the truth unraveled, I realized something. Damien wasn't just protecting me. He was protecting everything I touched. That meant my brother. That meant the cafe. That meant I was no longer invisible. When her name left his lips, Ilara, it was warning, promise, prayer all in one. And the hook dug deeper. Chapter 8. Come morning practice. The backlot smelled of wet asphalt and pine sap. Damien had dragged me out before sunrise, claiming I needed to learn. Learn what? I asked, arms crossed. How not to die, he said flatly. The air thickened as he stepped into the light. His wolf simmered under his skin, golden eyes catching sparks. Attack me! What? You freeze, you die. You fight, you might live. Attack. My chest ached. I can't. You can. Do it. So I lunged, half-hearted, and he caught my wrist before I blinked. His claws pressed, careful, warning. Again. We circled, breath clouding. The sound of claws scraping stone sang sharp. Again. Again. Each time faster, harder, until sweat stung my eyes and my arms trembled. At last, he shoved me back against the wall, his body pinning mine. His lips hovered too close. See? You hesitate. That's death. Her breath caught. My voice trembled. Then teach me to stop hesitating. A beat later, his eyes softened. He leaned in, closer, closer, then pulled away like the contact burned. Not like this. The space between them burned. My skin hummed, craving what he refused. Suddenly, a thud hit the pavement. We spun. A wolf carcass sprawled near the dumpster, throat torn. A note pinned with silver. Leashes or leavings. Damien's jaw flexed. Rogues. And the note? I whispered. Message, he said. They want you afraid. No matter how hard she tried, fear was already there, chewing her ribs raw. But then I met his gaze and whispered, I'm not leaving. His answer was a growl so low it shook the ground. Not a threat. A vow. Chapter 9. That night, the cafe windows gleamed like mirrors, empty street lamps buzzing. My brother had gone upstairs to bed, and silence draped the air heavy. I was wiping counters when glass shattered behind me. I spun. 2 wolves slunk from the shadows between shelves, eyes red, muzzles dripping. Her body moved on instinct. I grabbed the nearest thing, scalding steam pot, and hurled. Hiss. Burn. A yelp split the air. The other lunged. I snatched the silver letter opener from the register, bracing as teeth closed in. Then the front door exploded inward. Damien stormed through, a blur of fur and fury. He hit the rogue midair, claws raking, jaws snapping. Splinters flew. Shelves toppled. Books scattered like birds. Run! He shouted. I'm not leaving you. So I swung again. So steam seared another rogue's eye. So my blood roared. Moments later, the wolves lay broken. The cafe stank of blood and ink. My hands shook so badly the opener clattered to the floor. Damien wiped his mouth, chest heaving. His eyes, wild, golden, landed on me. For a heartbeat, he didn't look like Damien. He looked like something older, something that had claimed me without asking. The security camera blinked red, then static, then black. What's worse, I whispered, is nobody will believe me. They don't have to, he said, stepping close. His breath was smoke and heat and something darker. I do. And just like that, everything changed. Chapter 10. That night, the pack gathered in the square like storm clouds. Lanterns smoked, shadows lengthened, and every step echoed with judgment. I kept my hood low, pulse hammering. Damien walked beside me, too calm, too silent. The Alpha stood above us all, tall and cruel, his smile sharp as broken glass. In 7 nights, he declared, Damien Vare will take a mate from within the pack. Tradition demands it. Loyalty demands it. Her chest ached. My breath caught. The crowd murmured, some hungry, some fearful. Then, with a flick of his hand, the Alpha beckoned forward a girl with silver hair and a smug tilt of chin. Your bride, he said. Damien's jaw tightened until blood beaded at his lip. Still, he bowed his head. still. He didn't look at me. My heart skipped. My voice trembled. Am I invisible? Am I already lost? Then, without warning, an enforcer brushed past me, his smile like ash. Humans don't last long here, he murmured. Better find the exit. Before the words left my lips, Damien's hand caught my wrist. He didn't speak, but under the weight of his stare, his message was clear. Don't move. Don't break. The Alpha's decree hung heavy like a chain across my chest. Yet deep down I knew the truth. 7 nights wasn't a promise. It was a death sentence. Chapter 11. Come morning, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't know. Just 4 words. Ask him about the ice. Her thoughts spun. Ice. Childhood. Black water. A hand dragging me back from death. My lungs froze with the memory. That night, I cornered Damien in the cafe's back room, books towering like watchmen. Tell me, I said. It was you, wasn't it, when I fell through the ice? His eyes shuddered. He tried to look away, but then his voice cracked. My wolf imprinted that day. On you, I've been fighting it ever since. My world tilted. The air thickened. The silence roared. All this time, I whispered. All this time, he said. Mine. With every heartbeat, the bond pulsed, fierce and undeniable. I wanted to scream. I wanted to kiss him. I wanted both. Before either could speak again, a howl split the air outside. Long, cruel, promising blood. What's worse, he muttered, grabbing his jacket, is they're coming for you. Chapter 12. Meanwhile, outside the cafe, shadows bled into the street. Damien ran ahead, chasing the howl, drawn into a fight he couldn't ignore. I locked the doors, shoved furniture against the glass, and prayed my brother stayed asleep upstairs. Moments later, the rogues hit. Glass shattered. Claws raked. Teeth gleamed. I fought back with every scrap of training Damien had drilled into me. Steam pot, silver letter opener, fists that shook but didn't stop. Then one slammed me to the ground. Hot breath, sharp teeth. My body moved on instinct. Knee, elbow, scream. Still, I faltered. In the span of a breath, Damien burst through the wreckage. His wolf form crashed down like a storm. Blood sprayed, bones cracked. He tore the rogues apart until the cafe smelled of iron and ash. When her name left his lips, it was barely human. Alara? I touched his face, smeared with blood not his own. I'm here, I whispered. I'm not leaving. Between them, something cracked. Fear burned away, leaving only the truth. Love wasn't a choice anymore. It was war. Chapter 13. By the time the moon rose over the yard, the pack had gathered like a jury. Torches smoked, wolves prowled the edges, and the Alpha stood on his platform, waiting for Damien to kneel. Choose, the Alpha said. His voice rolled like thunder. Your mate, your loyalty, your future. Her chest ached. My hands trembled. And just like that, every eye turned on him. Damien looked at the silver-haired wolf the Alpha had paraded before. Then he looked at me. The air thickened. The silence roared. In the span of a breath, he crossed the yard and dropped to one knee, not at the Alpha's feet, but at mine. Mine, he growled. His hand wrapped my wrist, heat flaring. Alara Hayes, my mate. The crowd erupted. Gasps, snarls, laughter sharp as glass. The Alpha's smile died. Blasphemy, he said. Damien didn't move. His voice rumbled low. Truth. My world tilted. My voice trembled. Damien, stand with me, he whispered. So I did. And that's why the Alpha lifted his hand. That's why the first lash struck across Damien's back. Chapter 14. What followed was agony. The whip cracked again and again, each strike opening flesh, painting red across stone. Damien didn't cry out. He took it, jaw clenched, eyes locked on mine. Beg, the Alpha taunted, but Damien only whispered, never. Her breath caught. My chest ached. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't watch. Yet I didn't look away. When it was done, he collapsed, body broken, blood pooling. The crowd drifted, muttering, some pitying, some gleeful. The alpha smirked and left him there, half dead, half ghost. I ran to him. "Stay with me," I begged, pressing cloth to wounds that wouldn't close. "Please, don't you dare leave me." His voice cracked, raw. "You should run." "No," I whispered, fierce. "I choose you. I choose you, even if it kills me." Truth be told, that vow mattered more than anything, because it stitched something inside him no needle could reach. Hours later, hidden in a safe house, I stitched his skin with trembling hands. His breath shook, but his eyes softened. "Alara," he rasped. "Rest," I said. "You'll need strength. War's coming." Chapter 15. The next night, smoke curled from rooftops at the edge of town. Rogues had been sighted, bold, circling. The pack grew restless. Enforcers stalked door to door, whispering threats. I stuffed a bag with food and medicine, shoving it into my brother's arms. "Hide at Mrs. Klein's cellar. Don't open the door for anyone but me." His eyes went wide. "Alara, what's happening?" "Trouble," I said, "but you're safe if you listen." Meanwhile, Damien, still limping, still bleeding, loaded silver blades into a sack. "We can't hold them here," he muttered. "We need to move." "Move where?" "Anywhere the Alpha's leash can't reach." Her bones remembered fear, but her soul answered with fire. "No, we stay. This is our home." He froze, staring at me like he'd never seen me before. "You'd fight them?" "Yes," I said, steady. "For my brother, for this town, for you." Between them, something cracked. Respect, awe, desire, all tangled. The enforcer appeared in the doorway, smile cruel. "Sunrise," he said. "If you're still here, the culling begins." My chest ached, my breath caught. But then I looked at Damien, and I knew. There was no turning back. Chapter 16. That night, the town burned. Flames chewed rooftops, smoke strangled the sky, and the sound of screams cut sharper than any blade. Rogues poured through the streets, shadows with teeth, eyes lit like embers. "Ilara, stay behind me," Damien roared, his wolf breaking loose, claws flashing silver in firelight. But my brother's cry carried from the alley, high, terrified. Mine. Her body moved on instinct. I ran, past fire, past blood, past Damien's warning. Rogues closed in, 3, then 5, circling like vultures. My chest ached, my breath caught, but I kept going. "Over here," I shouted, my voice tearing. Their heads snapped toward me, muzzles dripping. I bolted, drawing them from the civilians huddled near the chapel. Damien's howl chased me, furious and broken. "Alara!" Still, I didn't stop. Because if I turned back, my brother died. Because if I fell, at least they lived. A rogue lunged, teeth tore across my arm, white pain exploding. I swung wild with a broken plank, hitting bone. Not enough. Another slammed me into stone, claws sinking deep. The world narrowed to blood, heat, and the desperate pounding of my heart. Chapter 17. The forest swallowed me whole. Branches clawed my face, the ground slick with frost. Every step was agony, blood soaking my sleeve, lungs dragging fire. Yet I ran. Behind me, rogues howled, closer, closer. My brother's face flashed in my mind, small and afraid. That was enough. I stumbled through the trees, reaching the frozen creek. The same creek that had almost killed me as a child. My bones remembered its hunger. The ice glistened black, groaning under my weight. "What's worse," I whispered, "is I'm not afraid anymore." My vision blurred. My knees buckled. The world tilted. I dropped, blood staining white snow red. Shadows circled. Wolves paced. My body screamed to give up. But my soul whispered, "Not yet." I pressed my hand to the ice, feeling its cold bite. "Damien, find me. Please." Her voice trembled, her chest ached, and then her eyes closed. Chapter 18. Moments later, the snow crunched. Heavy pause. A shadow broke through trees. Damien, wolf, fury, madness, skidded into the clearing. "Ilara!" His voice cracked human as he shifted, falling to his knees beside me. His hands shook, pressing to my wounds. "Stay with me! Don't you dare!" But then another shadow loomed. The Alpha. Cloaked, calm, eyes gleaming with cold authority. Enforcers flanked him, smiles like knives. "She is unworthy," the Alpha said. His tone was final. "End her, or end yourself." Her breath caught. My eyes fluttered. My lips formed his name. "Damien." He shook his head, blood dripping from his mouth. "No." "Do it," the Alpha pressed. "Prove loyalty, or forfeit your rank, your life, your pack." Damien lifted his head, eyes burning gold. His voice thundered like a storm breaking mountains. "Then I forfeit everything." And just like that, he ripped the beta tag from his chest and hurled it into the snow. His howl shattered the night, a sound of love and rebellion entwined. The Alpha sneered. "Then you are nothing." "No," Damien said, cradling me close. "I'm hers." The moon broke through clouds, silver pouring over blood and ice. Time stood still. My chest ached. His soul answered. And that's why everything we were, everything we feared, collapsed into silence. Chapter 19. In the quiet that followed the siege, I woke to the smell of smoke and herbs. My arm throbbed, bandaged tight. The safe house walls creaked as if holding secrets. And Damien sat beside me, his head bowed, his hand wrapped around mine. When my name left his lips, it was a broken prayer. "Ilara." Her voice trembled. "I thought I was gone." His chest ached. So did I. His eyes, wolf and man at once, glowed wet with unshed tears. "You don't understand. You proved it. Worthiness. No Alpha, no law, just you. You're mine because you choose it." Her breath caught. My world tilted. "Then I choose," I whispered. "I choose me. I choose you." Between them, something cracked, fear shattering, resolve spilling in its place. A knock rattled the door. Younger wolves, faces drawn with defiance, crowded in. "We saw what you did," one said. "We're with you now." And just like that, hope sparked where ash still smoked. Chapter 20. That night, we planned by candlelight, maps spread across scarred wood. Rogues still prowled, enforcers still hunted, but a new fire burned in the room. Damien's voice rumbled low. "We challenge him under the blood moon. Pack law demands he answer in front of all." My chest ached. "Challenge? He'll kill you." "Maybe," he said. "But if we don't, he kills you." Her breath caught. "Then we fight." We listed allies, outcast wolves sick of the Alpha's cruelty, townsfolk who'd seen too much, even elders who whispered rebellion. Every name was a risk. Every risk was a lifeline. "Because of that," I said, tracing the map, "we need safe routes for civilians. If rogues strike during the ceremony, they'll slaughter innocents." Damien's eyes softened. "You think like a Luna already." Her soul answered. Heat bloomed beneath my skin. For the first time, I didn't shrink from it. I leaned in. Maybe I am. But then the door slammed open. An enforcer shoved a boy inside, my brother, his face pale, eyes wide with terror. "Insurance," the enforcer sneered. "Come to the blood moon, or watch him bleed." Chapter 21. The mill reeked of oil and rust. Chains rattled in rafters. My brother hung bound, fear trembling through every breath. "Stay behind me," Damien ordered. "No," I said. "We do this together." Her body moved on instinct. I darted left, distracting guards with a thrown wrench. Damien struck right, wolf fury unleashed, claws tearing chains like paper. My brother cried out, "Ilara! I'm here!" I cut the last rope, catching him as he fell. Meanwhile, Damien ripped through the enforcers, blood and shadows spilling across concrete. He shifted back, chest heaving, scars lit with sweat. "We've got to move," he growled. "What about the others?" I asked, pointing to huddled pack outcasts in cages. Damien hesitated only a breath. Then he smashed the locks, freeing them. "Run! Join us at the clearing." Between us, something cracked, his fury bending to my mercy. Together, we weren't just surviving, we were leading. Outside, the forest whispered, drums beating distant. The blood moon rose, fat and red as a wound. "Time's up," Damien said. And just like that, everything narrowed to the final choice. Chapter 22. The clearing glowed blood-red beneath the swollen moon. Torches spit sparks. Wolves lined the ring, eyes sharp, breath steaming in the frozen night. The Alpha stood tall at its center, every scar on his body worn like a crown. Damien stepped forward, shoulders squared, golden gaze burning. His voice carried like thunder. "I challenge." Gasps rippled. The Alpha's smile curved cruel. "You forfeit rank, law, and life for a human? Then die with her name on your lips." Her chest ached. My breath caught. But I walked into the ring anyway. My voice trembled, but it didn't break. "He's not alone." The Alpha sneered. "You don't belong here." "Maybe not by your rules," I said. "But by mine, I choose. I stand." The pack roared, divided, uncertain. Then claws flashed, bodies collided. Damien met his Alpha like storm against stone. They circled, snapped, slammed. Blood sprayed. At the turning point, the Alpha feinted and wrenched me forward, dragging me like bait. Damien froze, fury and fear colliding. Before he could break, I shouted, "Remember me, not law, me." With every heartbeat, the bond pulsed, steadying him. He didn't rage. He didn't lose himself. He used restraint, precision, every lesson carved from scars. A blur, then Damien slammed the Alpha to the ground. One final strike. Silence. The Alpha lay still. The forest held its breath. Then wolves howled, first uncertain, then swelling into one voice. Tradition shattered. Love had rewritten law. Chapter 23. Smoke curled from torches dying low. Wolves dragged the fallen Alpha away. Some snarled, some bowed. The clearing smelled of iron, pine, and something new. Possibility. Damien staggered, blood painting his side. I caught him, holding his weight. "Stay with me," I whispered. "I'm here," he rasped. "Always." Younger wolves pressed close, eyes wide, waiting. "What now?" one asked. Damien looked at me. His voice trembled. "Not me. Us. No crown if you won't accept her." Her breath caught. My chest ached, all eyes turned. For a moment, silence stretched. Then, from the elder ranks, a single voice spoke. "She stood in the ring. She bled with us. She's Luna." The tide turned. Heads bowed. The crowd shifted, restless but accepting. A new order took root beneath the blood moon. Between them, something cracked. Fear fell away, leaving only the steady beat of unity. Chapter 24. Dawn bled soft across the trees. Smoke drifted like ghosts above the clearing. Wolves and humans lingered, cautious, watching. Damien stood before me, battered, bloodied, eyes burning brighter than ever. "Say it," he whispered. Her voice trembled, but her soul answered. "I choose you." He lifted my wrist, pressed lips to my pulse, and sank his teeth gently against skin. The mark tingled, searing, binding. My soul answered, heat flaring through every nerve. I touched his face, whispering, "Mine." And just like that, everything changed. The pack roared. The world tilted. And the dawn broke not with fear, but with promise. Weeks later, the town market bustled at the forest's edge. Wolves stood watch while children played. Humans traded bread for pelts, stories for laughter. I walked among them, No longer invisible, no longer small. Damien's hand brushed mine, scarred, steady, forever. A child tugged my sleeve. Are monsters real? I smiled. Only until someone chooses better. The blood moon had become a festival. The pack had become a family. And I, Elara Hayes, had become worthy.